Hey everyone, Aaron here from Rudy Visuals. Hope you're all well and staying safe. In today's video, we're reviewing the new Moza Air 2S, Moza's latest high-end heavy-duty gimbal designed for professional and heavy camera setups. And the short version of this is it's not the most newcomer friendly gimbal, and it definitely takes some time to get used to using, but it's a high performing workhorse of a gimbal that's going to tick a lot of boxes for serious video shooters and offers some nice improvements over its predecessor, the Air 2. Before we get into the review, a big thank you to Moza, specific shout out to Ophelia for reaching out to us and sending us one of these to review. This isn't a paid or sponsored video, but we did get this for free. Regardless, all thoughts and opinions are always fully independent. So firstly, let's talk price. So this beast is going to set you back about $499. It's about £459 here in the UK. So it's definitely not a budget gimbal. It's not quite super high end, but it's got some pretty serious competition in this price range. And for that price, you get a really rugged, well-built, high-performing device with a really nice padded carry case as well. And as a neat freak, I love the way everything is packaged neatly in its own little place. The tripod and all the cables and connections, and a manual, which, trust me on this one, don't throw that away. You're definitely going to need to read that. So first impressions is, wow, this is a beast. So I owned a Crane 2, a Zion Crane 2 for a couple of years, and I thought that was a beast, but this is definitely a next level beast. It's big and heavy. It weighs about 1.7 kilograms. So if you're looking for a light and portable, this ain't the droid you're looking for. Though it still, in my opinion, does sport this kind of understated, stealthy kind of look. The build quality is excellent. It's pretty much an all metal construction, other than some plastics on the buttons and this kind of grippy, soft touch material on the handle and on the tripod. And overall, yeah, it feels like a workhorse. It was designed to be a workhorse, designed for people who shoot all day, every day. And I would feel pretty confident about using and abusing this gimbal. As you'd expect for a gimbal of this size, it supports a maximum payload of 4.2 kilograms. So there are not many camera and lens setups that this thing can't handle. I use this with my A7 III. This is just here for demonstration purposes. And if you're rocking a bigger camera like a 1DX Mark III or a C70, it's gonna handle those fine with your typical kind of video lenses. In terms of the physical layout, so there's a just about big enough screen to see everything. And on the front here, you have a joystick, your scroll wheel and some function buttons. And on the left here, you have this smart hand wheel with this cool extension handle. So this can be used to give you kind of like more precise controls over your pans, your tilts, your zooms, and things like that. And it's also designed to be used with the optional follow focus accessory, which you can also buy separately. I actually really loved using this, and 100% it definitely helps to give you kind of like some more slower, like subtle movements that you couldn't really achieve without it. And on the right hand side, there is a USB-C port, cold shoe mounting point, some more mounting points, and on the back, your trigger button, and yet more mounting options with this RE rosette mount. All of these mounting options mean that you can really customize the crap out of this, you know, with microphones, monitors, lights, extra extension handles and extension arms. They've really designed this thing to be kind of like a modular gimbal that you can really customize. And again, this indicates as to the kinds of users who they're targeting with this gimbal. Now, axis locks are something that we've seen on gimbals previously, but on this, they actually feel really secure and really solid. That camera is definitely not moving. The buttons snap on with this reassuring snap, and you really have to put in a lot of effort to unlock and lock them again. I also love the quick release system that's compatible with Manfrotto quick release plates. So it means that once you've balanced your gimbal, you can take the camera on and off and it snaps back into place, meaning you don't have to rebalance this axis each time. Balancing the gimbal is the same as with most gimbals, requiring you to balance the camera on each axis. And one other thing I love that I didn't realize until I took this out is that your actual view of the camera screen is not restricted by the motor arm here. With most gimbals, it's kind of like slightly higher up and you kind of have to peek slightly under or to the side to really see the screen. But having the arm lower down here means you have a full view of the screen, which is just a really nice quality of life improvement. In terms of shooting modes, you get your typical pan, your tilt, your roll, follow, as well as a sports, inception, and FPV mode. And with the companion app, you're able to get more control over the gimbal. You can use it as like a remote, set and customize all your settings and have control over creative options like different time lapses, track recording, and object tracking. I particularly like the mimic motion control, which kind of reminds me of using my Nintendo Wii or Switch. Has a bit of a delay, but it's definitely a cool option to have. Now, one big improvement over the Air 2 is the battery. So previously it had these included batteries that you had to take out and charge up. Now it's built right into the gimbal itself. It's a 3200 milliamp hour battery, which takes about 2 hours to charge, but has a whopping battery life of 20 hours between charging, which I believe at this current moment, I think has the longest battery life of any gimbal on the market right now. The previous model, going off reviews online, also seemed to have a lot of issues with those batteries not charging and breaking. So hopefully having this one built in addresses any issues with that. So once you have everything up and running, you can use the auto adjust option, and this will shake the camera on different axes and optimizes the camera for the best settings considering the weight and size and dimensions of the camera and lens. It kind of looks like it's a dancing droid. You can actually save these in the settings. I think there are 3 slots you can save so that you don't have to do this each and every single time, which is useful if you're using the same camera, body and lens combinations fairly regularly. In terms of the performance of the gimbal, so when I use this with my A7 III, my 28 to 75 Tamron combo, which is well below the 4.2 kilogram threshold, it worked fantastically well. The stabilizer's really smooth, very stable, and felt reassuringly solid as well. It never felt like it was struggling at any point. It felt very reliable whether we were doing walking or running, horizontal, vertical shots. It held up and I didn't experience any kind of like vibrations or issues. The gimbal was just a pleasure to use really, and the smart wheel and handle in particular is a really nice addition, and I found myself using this more and more. And from my experience, you know, the bigger gimbals, they just feel like they struggle a lot less, especially for action and like sports shots, fast moving subjects. And you know, the Air 2S didn't disappoint in this aspect. I also really like the sport mode, which just makes the gimbal super responsive to like fast movements. And when it comes to customization, there are a ton of options in the settings. You can literally set like the speed, you can configure each axis individually, the pan, the tilt, the roll, all individually. You can set the power settings, you know, configure the joystick, the wheel, the trigger, the dials. It really is quite impressive how much you can actually customize. Which kind of brings me to what can be considered a good thing, but also a negative as well. So while it's great that you have this level of customization, as I said earlier, this is not a gimbal you can just pick up and start using. There are actually a range of shortcuts, but unless you like read the manual thoroughly, you would never work it out from, you know, from the buttons. Like, why does Q stand for sports mode? You know, double pressing S goes to inception mode. Triple pressing ISO goes to FPV mode. You would never know these icons here refer to the function of the smart wheel unless you look it up. And that, like, holding the trigger, for example, unlocks the tilt axis. And even just turning this one on and off, like, what was wrong with just on and off? Why do you need to press the battery button first and then you can switch it on by long pressing the on button? If I didn't read this manual, which is also not the most clear or well written, you wouldn't understand how to do anything on this gimbal. Like I said, there's a lot of customization here with this gimbal. So on the one hand, that's pretty amazing, but on the other, if you're like a first-time gimbal user, or you're looking for something that's super easy, that's just straightforward, you know, you can just turn it on and just pick up and start using, there are probably some better options out there. But having said that, once you get past that learning curve, the Moza Air 2S is generally one of the best gimbals I've used. So in summary, if you're only using like a small mirrorless camera with some light lenses, I'd probably recommend you get something lighter, more portable, and that's easier to use right out of the box. However, if you're already a seasoned video shooter, you've used lots of gimbals in the past and you're looking for a high-performing, well-built, feature-rich gimbal, and you don't mind spending the time to learn how to use this, well then the Moza Air 2S is a genuinely awesome option that will just be like a workhorse of a gimbal. So if you fit into that category, then yeah, it's a big thumbs up. Anyway guys, let me know what you guys thought of this gimbal. Let me know if you guys are using any gimbals yourselves down there in the comment section below, and any questions as well, you can drop them down there as well. Once again, a big thank you to Moza for making this video possible. You can check out their links down in the description as well. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and hit that subscribe button and the bell notifications if you want to see more. Follow us on socials, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching again. Peace.